Tonight, debate over how to fix the nation's leadership challenge continues. Governor-elect of Anambra State, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, says solution should begin at the grassroots. The battle against illegal oil refinery operations intensifies in Rivers State. 27 more sites discovered in Akukutoro local government area. The Director General of the Voice of Nigeria, Osita Okechukwu, detained by the EFCC for alleged misappropriation of funds to the tune of 1.3 billion naira. And a historic snowstorm batters east coast of the United States, the first major blizzard to hit the region in 4 years.
On business news tonight, Nigeria's forex reserves dropped further by $163 million, its 12th consecutive week of decline.
We begin with politics tonight. Many Nigerians today believe that the biggest challenge facing the nation is that of political leadership, and opinions vary on how this should be tackled. For the governor-elect of Anambra State, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, it is time to start fixing the country's politics from the sub-national level. Professor Soludo was speaking in Abuja at the graduation ceremony of the pioneer class of the School of Politics, Policy and Governance, founded by former Minister of Education, Dr. Obi Ezekwesili. Our correspondent, Terry Kumi, reports.
Like the prophets of old, I stand.
Invited guests, including the governor-elect of Anambra State, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, former EFCC chairman Nuhu Ribadu, and former Minister of Information Frank Nweke Jr. are in this hall to share knowledge with over 150 graduating students of the School of Politics, Policy and Governance. The conversation, led by the founder of the school, Obiageli Ezekwesili, harps on the importance of active participation in politics and fixing Nigeria's politics.
Plato said that those who disdain politics will ultimately be ruled by their inferior. Those who disdain politics will be governed. He didn't even use the word governed. He said ruled. And is that not our situation? We're ruled. We're not governed. You cannot play with the lowest degree of your citizens as your political leaders in your public space and expect that something will just happen.
Today, as a collective force, I admonish you, kick those doors down. Kick those doors down. Every door of injustice, every door of wickedness, and every door of religious intolerance.
I must confess.
The keynote address is delivered by former Central Bank Governor and Governor-elect of Anambra State, Chukwuma Soludo.
The key is to participate in the process or stop complaining. For Nigeria, most people focus on politics in Abuja, and we have for too long tried in vain to fix Nigeria from the obtuse center. It is time to try fixing it and its politics from below, from the sub-national units, getting to the local governments, to the villages, to the clans. If you have something to offer, go and run for office. Win or lose, your participation will add something to the process.
The belief is that starting now, the conversation must tilt towards fixing the country's politics and getting only qualified persons to participate in order to solve the problem of development in Nigeria and indeed Africa. Terry Ikumi, Channels Television News.
Meanwhile, the debate over which region will produce the next president of the country continues within the People's Democratic Party. But this time, Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed says the North, especially the Northeast, should be given another opportunity to rule the country in the interest of fairness and equity. Governor Mohammed stated this in Bauchi while receiving the progress report of the Contact Committee on his presidential ambition.
We are aware of the agitation of the southern part of the country because of the tenure of the leader of the country today, President Muhammadu Buhari, who is from the north, and he will be finishing his tenure in 2023. So power shall rotate to the south. But I want to say it and seize the opportunity to say that I am in PDP, I am not in APC. It is the APC that has this burden. In my party, the last president was from the South, and he was my president, Goodluck Ebele. And during the period, my party was at the center 16 years. 14 of these years were led by the people from the South. So why is the justice and justification? So it is the turn of the North. And when you come to the North, as the chairman has said, North-East and South-East have not been there for too long, only a short stint compared to other laws. We should be given the opportunity. Even then, I said there could be good hands better than us everywhere. This presidency, if we want to be just and equitable to Nigerians, especially the young generation, should be open to everybody, from every section of the country, even from the South, even from the Northwest, everywhere, so that Nigerians will be given the opportunity to elect or recruit the best that can provide solution.
Well, staying with political matters, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is assuring residents of the nation's capital that the forthcoming area council election will be free, fair, credible and peaceful. The National Commissioner in charge of Planning, Monitoring and Strategy, Mr. Abdullahi Zuru, made the pledge during the Election Monitoring and Support Center Red Zone Implementers Forum, organized by the European Center for Electoral Support. Well, according to him, the exercise will be a model for by-elections in federal and state constituencies, as well as the Osun and Ekiti governorship elections. Away from politics, at least 27 more illegal oil refining sites have been discovered in the past 1 week in Akukutoro local government area of Rivers State in operations led by the chairman of the council, Mr. Roland Sekibo. Well, 8 persons suspected to be pipeline vandals have also been arrested as the operation to end oil bunkering and illegal refining of petroleum products intensified by the state government. Day after day, more illegal refineries are being discovered in different parts of Rivers State, with as many as 112 sites discovered recently in Ikwere local government area. The chairman of Akukutoro local government area is leading journalists by boats to the deep mangrove forest, where at least 27 more sites and several makeshift buildings used for camping have been discovered.
This area is owned by one of our community. We're finished with this area now. By tomorrow, we'll be moving to Idama community. When we finish Idama, we'll go to Soku area. When we finish Soku, we'll go to Kola, then Abise. Unfortunately for us in this local government, Abise seems to be like the dean of this profile in the local government. So that's why I want to tackle them. One community after another.
While the council chairman appears determined to sustain this fight, he's requesting for intelligence from the residents to end this economic sabotage and damage to the environment.
We feel sad, we feel bad that our environment is being polluted the way it is polluted, and especially by young men are ordinarily supposed to know better because they have more years to live. My advice to them is that they should just give us information, because the truth is, it's difficult for many community to fight against these people that indulge in this illegal bunkering, because it's synonymous to crime, kidnapping, and the people that does that harm themselves. So there is no way you take ordinary hand to a gunfight. So but those of us that are responsible by the ground to protect them, let them give us information and we'll go out for them.
So far, 8 suspects have been arrested in the local government area for their alleged involvement in illegal refining of petroleum products and pipeline vandalism. There was pandemonium earlier today near the Kwara State Polytechnic in Ilorin, the state capital, as the police squared off with some persons suspected to be members of a secret cult group. Now, given account of the incident, police spokesperson in the state, Ajayi Okosomi, said they were attacked by suspected cultists while they intervened to restore peace in the aftermath of an attack on a student.
There was an attack on a student by name Idris Deremi in La Lojo area of Ilorin. It's a urban town in the area of the Kwara State Polytechnic. So the team from the STS, Force FIB Abuja, who are here, had a very actionable intelligence regarding cultists and some men with guns terrorizing the students and innocent individuals around the area. So they went there this morning, unknown to them that the criminals are aware that they were coming. So they already laid down bush for them. They attacked the policemen. They shot at the windscreen of the Hummer bus. They went there, and in the ensuing fracas, some people were injured. A police sergeant was shot in the head, but by the grace of God, he's still in the hospital now recuperating. And 2 of the suspects were arrested with an English-made or English-fabricated pistol, 3 live ammunition, and 2 cartridges.
Staying with security, the Nigerian Army says civil-military relations is key in shaping opinion about the conduct of military operations in the country. This is according to the Chief of Civil-Military Affairs of the Nigerian Army, Major General Marcus Kangye, at a forum on non-kinetic operations in Yola, the Adamawa state capital. According to him, the interface became necessary to help bridge the gap between the public and the army.
Time and again, military operations are always misunderstood and seen as threat against the civilian populace. This is more difficult for the army and citizens to cooperate towards combating insurgency and other security challenges. The situation is further compounded with the rise of fake news and lack of in-depth investigative reporting by some journalists. For this reason, the Department of Civil Military Affairs of the Nigerian Army is collaborating with security stakeholders in organizing this seminar in Yola, the Adamawa state capital, with the state governor Umaru Fintiri in attendance. It's the 17th edition for social media influencers and journalists with the theme Imperatives of Non-Kinetic Line of Operations in Asymmetric Warfare.
Staff is first and foremost without equal.
In his remarks, the Chief of Civil Military Affairs, Major General Marcus Kangye, says understanding military operations will enhance accurate reports, just as the chairman, NUJ Adamawa chapter, appeals for more cooperation.
There is so much that the social media can do in support of Nigerian Army operations across the country. Let me please appeal to the military to see the journalists as part of the stakeholders that also has the responsibility to contribute their quota.
A cross-section of the participants say the meeting is a step in the right direction.
The citizens need to know more about the military, especially the Nigerian Army, whose constitutional responsibility is to protect the territorial integrity of those countries.
Journalist is a Nigerian, a professional, and in carrying out his duties is guided by some ethics and values. The military needs to build on that by encouraging far more robust relationship.
At the end of the interactions, it was agreed that all hands must be on deck in improving the relationship between the military and the people to enhance security.
In part 2, after the break, members of Chibok community in Borno State call on the federal government to intensify efforts and end incessant attacks by insurgents in their area. Stay with us. You're welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10, live on Channels Television Lagos. A reminder of our top stories. Debate over how to fix the nation's leadership challenge continues. Governor-elect of Anambra State, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, says solutions should begin at the grassroots. Battle against illegal oil refinery operations intensifies in Rivers State. 27 more sites discovered in agricultural local government area. The Director General of the Voice of Nigeria, Osita Okechukwu, detained by the EFCC over alleged misappropriation of funds to the tune of 1.3 billion naira. An historic snowstorm batters east coast of the United States, the first major blizzard to hit the region in 4 years. Some indigents of Chibok, under the aegis of the Kibaku Area Development Association, are calling on the federal government to redouble its efforts towards restoring peace in Chibok local government area of Borno State. They're also restating their demand for the return of the remaining Chibok girls abducted in 2014 and the establishment of an internally displaced persons camp in Chibok. The president of the association, Mr. Dauda Elia, who was addressing a news conference in Abuja, lamented the recent attacks as well as the destruction of lives and property by terrorists.
The chairman of the Kibaku Development Association is leading other members of the association to seek the intervention of government over the security situation in Chibok. Aside from the April 2014 abduction of the Chibok schoolgirls, the community has been in the news recently following the recent spate of attacks. According to the association, Chibok has recorded over 72 attacks, leading to the destruction of houses and farmlands in the area.
We, the Kibaku Area Development Association, KADA, on behalf of the entire Chibok community, are using this medium to once again call on the President, Muhammadu Buhari, to rescue the Chibok community and ethnic nationality from total annihilation by the Boko Haram terrorists. This is because since the mass abduction of over 276 of our daughters on April 14, 2014, where about 57 of them escaped on their own, we still have about 110 of them still unaccounted for.
Members of the association are worried that the situation may take a different dimension if urgent steps are not taken to address the situation.
We call on all well-meaning Nigerians, and Mr. President in particular, who is the Commander-in-Chief, to rise up to the occasion and urgently save our people from total annihilation and starvation. We have a few prayers that we want to highlight to government. Number one, we're asking the government to seek for support, to synergize with our security forces in confronting this menace so as to end the sustained carnage on our people.
While calling on the government to set up a camp for internally displaced persons in the community, the association is still hoping for the safe return of the remaining 110 Chibok schoolgirls abducted over 7 years ago.
Well, incidentally, the Northeast Development Commission is the focal organization charged with the responsibility of coordinating all intervention programs for the development of the Northeast region, of which Chibok is in there. Well, while it works on developing the Northeast Stabilization and Development Master Plan for that purpose, this next report examines that effort, which is expected to provide strategies, policies, and remedial interventions for addressing the challenges in the region over the next 10 years.
For the past 12 years, Nigeria's northeast region has battled insurgency caused by members of the Boko Haram sect. Within the period, several lives have been lost, millions displaced, while several social amenities destroyed. The Northeast Development Commission was established to manage the rehabilitation efforts in the region. In the last 1 year, the Commission has been holding consultations to develop a master plan that will drive the development of the region.
To achieve the aim of the establishment, the NNDC Act provides that the Commission shall develop a master plan based on the needs assessment of the zone, to be known as the Northeast Civilization and Development Master Plan. The master plan shall contain programs and schemes that promote and facilitate the physical and socio-economic development of the Northeast region, as well as provide estimate of the time and cost of implementing the program and schemes.
We need to have a very strong master plan that will be sustainable. You understand what I mean by sustainable. And it is a living document that can be updated at any time.
So what I mean by it shouldn't be a political is that it should be an all-inclusive, pragmatic approach to solving the problem of the Northeast.
As the master plan unfolds, the Commission is delivering several projects across the region, including the construction of 10,000 housing units in Borno State, which is assisting the state government's plan to resettle those living in internally displaced camps. The Commission is also working on rebuilding the bridges along the Michika-Matagali Road, linking Adamawa to Borno State. Bridges destroyed by the Boko Haram insurgents. However, residents of the region want the Commission to be mindful of the needs of the people.
I would like to call on the NEDC to ensure that their programs and projects are based on the needs of the people of the region that they're serving, especially the downtrodden communities in the region. We don't want it to be business as usual.
We're all aware that the rate of unemployment is high in this country today. If they are able to impress more on getting more youths, well, they've done that before, but if they impress, like I'm saying, to get more youths, I believe more youths will be engaged, and it will go a long way in reducing crimes in our society, and it will again boost unity and peaceful coexistence in the state.
State governors are also preparing to key into the master plan.
I'm delighted that the ongoing process of crafting of the Northeast Regional Master Plan factored in our development agenda. I have no doubt in my mind that if the process of stakeholders' engagement is sustained and deepened, we shall have an all-inclusive development agenda for the Northeast sub-region.
The Commission has also held engagements with humanitarian, development, peace-building partners, civil society organizations, faith-based organizations, the organized private sector, political and security leaders. The target is to launch a comprehensive 10-year plan that will guide the Commission's interventionist measures for the Northeast region.
More stories now. The Director General of the Voice of Nigeria, Mr. Osita Okechukwu, is now the latest catch in the net of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC. Mr. Okechukwu has been detained over a case of conspiracy, abuse of office, and misappropriation of public funds to the tune of 1.3 billion naira. He was said to have arrived at the headquarters of the Anti-Graft Agency in Abuja at about 1:30 p.m. today to honor an invitation. And as at the time of filing this report, he was still with the operatives of the agency. When contacted, the FCC spokesperson, Mr. Wilson Owojaren, confirmed the invitation of the VON chief executive, but declined further comment. The VON is Nigeria's official international broadcasting station, responsible for relaying Nigeria's viewpoints to any part of the world. Well, today marks a happy ending for 8,585 graduates celebrated at the combined convocation ceremony of the Taraba State University. As a reward for their hard work, the state governor, Darius Ishaku, has also granted employment for the first-class graduates who wish to remain in the academia. Speaking at the ceremony, Governor Ishaku uses the opportunity to dissuade the youth in the state from being used by politicians for thuggery in the next general elections.
Students of the Taraba State University donned their caps and gowns as they file in for a combined convocation ceremony in Jalingo, the state capital. Then come members of the academia. In all, 8,585 students who have been found worthy in character and learning are graduating with various degrees in several disciplines.
Out of these, 49 graduated with first class. 2,416 second class upper division. 3,983 second class honors lower division.
One after the other, first-class graduates receive individual name recognitions and special awards are given to deserving graduates. 4 dignitaries: the Governor of Delta State, Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa; Isa Mohammed, representing the former Chief Justice of Nigeria, Mahmoud Mohammed; Executive Chairman, NEDC, Major General Paul Tafa, retired; and the Vice President, NLC, Usman Yassam, are conferred with honorary degrees.
I have been in public office for over 30 years now, and during this period, as you can imagine, I've been conferred with countless awards. But nothing compares to being recognized by the academic community, especially when that community is renowned for conservative values, quality research, and industry excellence.
Governor Darius Ishaku assures that his administration will not relent in developing the educational sector in the state. He also has a word for the graduating students.
As you move to the next stage in the journey of your lives, I urge you to be worthy ambassadors of TSU and Taraba State wherever you may find yourselves.
He uses the opportunity to warn against political thuggery ahead of the 2023 general elections.
I appeal to the great youth of Taraba to be wary of any party or any group of parties, any politician or any individual that will try to entice them into becoming political thugs and perpetrators of election irregularities.
The institution, which commenced academic activities in 2008 and 2009, says it has improved in various spheres, especially as it is currently ranked 17th among 157 public universities in Nigeria.
Well, staying with the academia, a free press is necessary for sustainable democratic growth in any country. Well, this is coming from a professor of mass communication, Professor Ralph Akinfeleye, during the formal launch of a 928-page book in his honor at the University of Lagos. The occasion attracted prominent media executives and practitioners in the country.
Within this hall, some of the biggest and brightest in Nigerian media space gathered to celebrate a mass communication and journalism teacher, Professor Ralph Akinfeleye, whose career has spanned 40 years. The occasion also marks the formal launch of a 928-page first shrift put together by 5 academicians in his honor. To set the ball rolling, the lead editor of the publication gives an insight.
When he was retiring from the university, we thought of what we could do to at least acknowledge his contributions to the society. Because here is a man who has succeeded in bridging the gap between the town and the gown.
The man of the moment shares his view on who constitutes the fourth estate of the realm, as well as the role of a free press.
There cannot be any sustainable or participatory democracy without a free press. Therefore, government at all levels must factor this concept in their developmental agenda for meaningful and sustainable democracy to occur.
Some of the dignitaries present eulogized the man described as a teacher of teachers.
Apart from caring for his students, he cares about the profession. Every time we have a conversation about journalism, and is worried about the way journalism is going. And I believe that is why Prof put this book together.
Prof, there's been a lot that's been said about you. I want to congratulate you and wish you continued successes, bringing knowledge to people and making them better people as they grow up.
Executive Officer of Channels Television, Dr. John Momo, also reminisces on his days as a student of the celebrant.
His classes, as far as I remember, were the most exciting and always well attended. We always looked forward to it. And is sincerely underline that word, interested in their academic success and personal growth. He still calls me up to find out how we're doing, and he still guides me and steers me up till today.
Away from the eulogies to the book review.
The book is divided into 8 parts and 57 chapters.
with a foreword written by Afe Babalola, founder and chancellor of Afe Babalola University.
Now it's time to present the publication, Issues in Fourth and Fifth Estate of the Realm, first shrift on Professor Ralph Afolabi Akinfeleye.
Great pleasure and honor to unveil this book on behalf of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Legaban Bogo, Presidential Book. Thank you very much.
With the publication of this book, many hope that it would expand the body of knowledge for media scholars and practitioners. Bukola Joe Uketumbi, Channels Television News.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Anambra International Airport receives first Embraer 195E2 aircraft, the biggest to land at the facility. Plus, Nigeria's forex reserves drop further by $163 million for the 12th consecutive week. That's some business news. Join us again. Following the approval by the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority for operation of Boeing 737-700 aircraft or its equivalent at the Anambra International Airport in Umueri, Governor Willie Obiano has welcomed passengers on board the first Embraer 195E2 aircraft at the airport. Well, according to the governor, this development marks a major breakthrough for the airport.
Governor Willie Obiano and his team at the Anambra International Passenger and Cargo Airport, Umueri, to receive the first set of passengers arriving with a large aircraft. This is coming after the approval of the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, NCAA, for the airport to operate the Boeing 737-700 aircraft or its equivalent. Expectations are high as they look forward to the arrival. The 124-passenger capacity aircraft lands and makes its way to the apron. Governor Obiano receives the pilot and the passengers. Commended the governor for the feat. The pilot attests to the quality of the facilities at the airport.
Coming in, we tested the ILS. The ILS it works very well, and the runway is smooth, very long. We had the approach light, we had runway lighting as well. Congratulations, Your Excellency. This is a very safe runway, second longest in Nigeria.
For Governor Obiano, it's indeed a remarkable day.
This is a great day, and that's why I came personally to welcome the first set of passengers that landed on this aircraft using a bigger plane.
The traditional ruler of the host community is delighted over this development.
We cannot thank His Excellency the Governor enough for the developmental projects he cited in Umueri. Not only the airport, but some other projects. We cannot thank you enough.
As the gathering is documented with photographs, another large aircraft is expected to land, and the state government says 2 airlines have since begun operation at the airport, while many more are on the verge of commencement.
And over to Ogun State, where Ogun West Senatorial District is demanding a fair share in the political calculations and resource distribution in the state to better the lot of its people and ensure equity, fairness and justice. At a meeting in Ilaro, the political headquarters of the Senatorial District, participants demanded unity of purpose among political gladiators from the region for the realization of their political aspirations and dreams. They alleged that their Senatorial District has been politically neglected.
The Ogun West Senatorial District, since the creation of the state in 1976, has not yet produced a governor from that district in spite of reported attempts and missed opportunities. This gathering, which brought together traditional rulers, politicians, leaders of thought, youth, artisans and other professionals, is meant to be a wake-up call to drum the necessary awareness and support whenever the opportunity presents itself again.
Distribution of resources from the beginning and infrastructural development had weighed negatively against Ogun West. This government and this governor is now assuring us that unbalanced distribution in the past is forgone. And that from now on, it's going to be very fair.
Speakers at the event bring up the Egba and Ijebu political blocs, which they say remains a factor in the selection and rotation principle. Unhealthy political rivalry amongst gladiators from the political spectrum in the region are some of the factors responsible. And a former deputy governor asked for determination and forging of concrete alliances with other political blocs in the area in order to realize their dream of producing a governor.
When others have one candidate from their own senatorial, and we have about 2-3 from our own senatorial district, how do we get it? So we need to change that. Let us have a candidate that we believe in.
Listen.
The State Commissioner for Budget and Planning, who is also an indigene of the area, sees the occasion to assure his people of more government presence in the provision of critical infrastructure.
We should aim for West for governor, but our time should be right. I think it's time for continuity, and I think what we ought to do is to support this current government, such that when our time comes, they can, support us as well.
To achieve this, it's expected that political gladiators will close their ranks, jettison groups and personal interests for the common goal.
And to health matters, at least 32 people are reported to have died from Lassa fever since the beginning of the new year. And this is according to data from the Nigeria Center for Disease Control. In a situation report, the NCDC states that the nation reported a total of 170 new confirmed cases within the period. The report also indicated that a total of 759 suspected cases of the disease were reported across 37 local government areas in 12 states. Of the figure, the NCDC said 74% were recorded in 3 states, Edo, Ondo, and Bauchi. Lassa fever is transmitted to man by infected multi-mammit rats and is an acute viral illness and a viral hemorrhagic fever contracted by touching soiled objects, eating contaminated food, or exposure to open cuts or sores. The Abia State Governor, Okezie Ikpeazu, has flagged off the distribution of medical equipment to primary health care centers across the 3 senatorial zones of the state. Well, this was done in collaboration with donor agencies outside the country and Abia State indigents in the diaspora through what is called Project Care. The state government says the items are purpose-driven and targeted at the critical needs of the people, as efforts will trickle down to the grassroots.
It is a thing of joy that today we have come to this milestone. This is a journey that started a few years ago when we tried to seek collaboration and support from donor agencies and institutions outside Nigeria to support our health care delivery program in Abia State. Therefore, these items are purpose targeted. They are targeted at critical needs of our people, as was revealed by the visit of those who came to support us. I want to say quickly that it is the intention of this government that this effort will trickle down to the grassroots. Our intention is to improve the life expectancy of Ndabia. And we have carefully crafted a pathway that can enable us to achieve this.
And now for the latest business stories, let's join Teniola Shubowali.
Thanks a lot, Kayode. Welcome to Business News. Nigeria's foreign exchange reserves has sustained its downtrend for the 12th consecutive week, despite the central bank interventions in the forex market. Latest data from the CBN shows that gross reserves of the country's external buffers dropped further by $163.8 million week on week to $40.15 billion as at January the 27th. Analysts credit the decline to low crude oil production levels as foreign inflows are important for sustained FX liquidity over the medium term. Meanwhile, trading activity at the FMDQ exchange closed mostly negative this week as the total turnover of transactions carried out at the FX spot, forwards and futures markets fell by 19.04% to $638.14 million as at January the 28th. A further analysis of trading results shows that total value of transactions at the FX spot market declined by 21.46% to $472.06 million, while the FX derivatives market turnover dropped by 11.26% to $166.08 million. Similarly, the Naira depreciated by 0.10% to 416 Naira for kobo against the dollar at the Nigerian Autonomous Foreign Exchange window of the Forex market. The Central Bank of Nigeria has announced a downward review of charges and rates on ATM withdrawal and interbank transfer fees for electronic banking transactions. According to the CBN, the standing order charge for intra-bank transactions will be free and will no longer carry the charge of the 300 Naira as contained in the 2017 guideline. Electronic funds transfers also been renewed downwards to 10 Naira for transactions below 5,000 Naira, 26 Naira for transactions above 5,000 to 50,000 Naira, while transactions above 50,000 Naira will be charged 50 Naira. Similarly, withdrawals on other banks' ATMs have been reduced from 65 to 35 Naira after the third withdrawal within the same month. To the equities market, where the bulls continue to dictate proceedings on the local bourse as the gradual release of corporate earnings boosted by an interest in dividend-paying stocks. Accordingly, the all-share index rose by 0.55% week on week to close at 46,205.05 points. Notably, buy interest in EcoBank Transnational Incorporated, Guinness International Breweries, Airtel Africa, and Total Energy spurred the weekly gain. Activity levels were weaker than the prior week as trading volume and value declined by about 22.0% and 59.8% each week on week. A quick look at the sectors, we see the banking, oil and gas and consumer goods indexes recorded gains, while the industrial goods and insurance indexes closed in the red. This week, the banking and oil and gas indexes both hit a 52-week high. Now, EcoBank Transnational Incorporated topped the gainers chart for the week, while CNI Leasing PLC led the decliners. The trio of GTCO, Courtville Business Solutions and Shams added 21.27% and 15.05% to the total equity turnover volume and value in the week. The NASD OTC Securities Exchange Index closed the week on a positive note, increasing by 0.17% to close the week at 742.82 points. However, volume of trades for the week decreased by about 99% to 4.99 million units when compared to the previous week, while value also fell by a similar margin to settle at 115.14 million Naira. Central Securities Clearing System was the only advancer for the week, while NASD PLC led three other laggards. Meanwhile, NASD PLC and Duffield Prima Foods PLC top trades by volume to close the week. And now to the fixed income market, where the bond market was mostly bullish this week, with few bearish trading sessions in the week. At the close of trading on Friday, the market closed mixed. Overall average benchmark yields closed at 11.53%, with benchmark yield falling by 2.17%. The Treasury bills market was quiet this week, although with some massive interest seen on the April 22 maturity. At the close of trading on Friday, the market was bullish, with buying interest seen both at the Treasury and OMO bills. Average benchmark yields for Treasury bills fell by 1.10%. Yields on OMO bills also fell by 0.53%. And that's business news tonight. I'm Teniola Shobowale. It's back to Kayode for the rest of the news at 10.
Thanks a lot, Tenny. Well, it's a big day in the DRC as 51 militia members have been sentenced to death for their involvement in the murder of 2 UN experts and their interpreter. Swedish Chilean national Zayda Catalan and American Michael Sharp were abducted and killed in the Kasai region in 2017. They were investigating alleged mass graves after fighting broke out between government forces and a militia group. The interpreter, Betu Shintella, was also killed. Their bodies were found 16 days after being kidnapped, and Catalan had been beheaded. The guilty verdicts were handed down by a military court at the end of a 4-year trial, and the Democratic Republic of Congo has declared a moratorium on executions, so the death sentences will likely end up being life imprisonment. The United Nations says the deadly storm that hit southern African countries this week has shown the reality of the climate crisis. The death toll from the destruction caused by Storm Anna has risen to 86. Rescue workers are trying to reach tens of thousands who have been cut off as roads and bridges have been washed away in Madagascar, Mozambique and Malawi. Authorities are now watching to see if a second storm, Batsirai, will hit the continent next week. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres says more investment is needed to protect and save lives. The region has been repeatedly struck by severe storms and cyclones in recent years, destroying homes, infrastructure and crops, and displacing large numbers of people. Well, the U.S. East Coast is being battered by the first major blizzard to hit the region in 4 years. Well, some areas are being hit by heavy snow and hurricane force winds, and 5 states declared emergencies ahead of the storm's arrival. Experts warn of historic snowfall in some places, and flood warnings have been issued near the coast. More than 80,000 households across Massachusetts are reportedly suffering power outages. Well, today alone, more than 3,500 flights have been cancelled traveling within, into, or out of the U.S. 847 flights have already been cancelled for Sunday. Well, Italian President Sergio Mattarella has agreed to serve a second term after coalition parties failed to agree on a compromise candidate for the office. The 80-year-old emerged as the most popular choice after 6 days of often tense voting in Rome. He had expressed a desire to leave office, but reports say Prime Minister Mario Draghi had convinced him to stay for the stability of Italy. Italy's presidency is elected through a secret vote in an electoral college of 1,009 senators, MPs, and some regional delegates, with the first candidates to receive 2/3 of the vote declared victorious. Well, the Africa Cup of Nations is still on with a lot of action today, and Chris Lems has the latest sports stories for us.
Thank you, Kayode. Cameroon's Indomitable Lions and the Stallions of Burkina Faso have both advanced to the semi-finals of the African Cup of Nations. Cameroon defeated debutant Gambia 2-0 in front of a passionate home crowd at Japoma Stadium in Douala. A brace in the second half from Carl Toko Ekambi was enough to secure a place in the last four for the indomitable Lions. Elsewhere, Dango Ouattara scored the only goal and was sent off later on as Burkina Faso beat Tunisia 1-0 to reach the semi-finals. Beijing 2022 organizers expect Olympics-related COVID-19 cases to hit their peak in the coming days as arrivals from abroad increase. Around 3,000 Olympics-related personnel and athletes have arrived within the last 2 days. A total of 36 new COVID-19 cases were detected within the closed loop. 29 of them found among new airport arrivals, while 7 were among those already within the bubble.
The other issue is we are now just going through the peak period of people arriving in China, and therefore we expect to see the highest numbers at this stage. We've had something like 3,000 people through in the last 2 days, the highest number so far, so that means we will see higher numbers of positives.
And that's it on sports. Thank you for joining us. Back to you.
Thanks a lot, Chris. And the main news again. The debate over how to fix the nation's leadership challenge came to the fore again today at a forum in Abuja, where Governor-elect of Anambra State, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, said that the solution is fixing the nation's politics, beginning from the grassroots. A battle against illegal oil refinery, in fact. Also today, the Director General of the Voice of Nigeria, Osita Okechukwu, was detained by the EFCC over alleged misappropriation of public funds to the tune of 1.3 billion naira. And a historic snowstorm today battered the east coast of the United States. It is described as the first major blizzard to hit the region in 4 years. And that's the news at 10. Thank you for watching. I'm Kayode Ikielu. Good night.